So you're curious about finding and flipping and profiting from items. You see everybody else do it. You hear about it all the time. You're reading this book now and you're thinking to yourself, well, if it's that easy, why can't I do it? Well, you can, but you need to be prepared before you go out there so you don't waste, first of all, a ton of time. Secondly, money. If you don't know how to value things properly, you're going to really get lost. If you go out there and you see something and you get excited and you think, wow, I know that's worth 150 bucks. And you get home and then you do your research on the internet and you realize it's worth 25. Well, if you gave the person 10 bucks for it, by the time you post it and you pay shipping and handling and fees, the profit's going to be maybe 5 bucks. So it's not worth your time. So what I recommend doing is getting a prep sheet that really sets the tone for you to do this the right way. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like a to-do list, but not really. It's really a checklist of what you should do before you go out. And I always do research before I go out if I'm looking for something specific. So you get a sheet and you put on it, what you're looking for. But before that, let me back up a little bit. Before you start finding and going out there searching and finding and flipping and making money from whatever you like, you have to sit down and decide, why do you want to do this? Do you want to do it because you think it's easy, you can make a quick dollar? Do you think that you have a knack for it? Do you think you know certain things about items that others might not know? It's very, very, very critical that you take your time before you venture into this arena of finding and flipping and profiting from items. Because you can start small and then go huge. You can start with a comic book and then end up flipping an airplane, like a private jet. And it happens all the time now. So what you should do is sit down on a piece of paper and write down what you're good at. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are your goals for doing this? How much money do you want to make? What do you have knowledge of? Do you know where to go and get stuff that other people don't know? Is there a hidden source that maybe you've kind of seen over the years, but haven't really utilized it for yourself? This is the most important step, the first step before you even try to find anything, is sit down and write yourself a welcome note, welcoming yourself into this industry. And tell yourself what you hope to gain from it. Why are you jumping in and doing it? Are you doing it because you're reading my book? If so, fantastic, because I'm going to guide you in the right direction. If you're doing it because everybody else is doing it, that's great. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff around the world to find, flip, and profit from. This is not just a United States thing. This happens all over the world. So this is not just a North American thing. This is a world event and a movement. And by finding and fixing and flipping, or just finding and flipping and profiting from things, does a couple things. It will help the environment by recycling things and repurposing things that would just get rotten and go to waste. It will also put money in your pocket. When you make your very first sale, it's exhilarating because you should know when you buy something how much you're going to make on it. What's the lowest price you're willing to take? What's the lowest price that anybody would offer you? And that all comes from knowing what you're looking at. For me, it's always exciting because I have interest in so many different things. But starting out, it was very difficult. I was fortunate to have a grandfather that encouraged reading when I was younger. That was really cool. So every Sunday, after we went to church as a family, he said to us, because I had a brother and sister, so all three of us had the opportunity to go to the bookstore and buy one book each week. He didn't care what it was, just one book. It's all it, he gave us a limit. And then he said, you got to read them, but you got to hold on to them and utilize what's the knowledge that's in it, whatever is, if it's fiction or nonfiction, whatever you want to do with it. We were able to get one book. So I started collecting beer cans when I was a kid, and I collected matchbook covers, and I collected baseball cards. You name it, I collected it. But then I realized that I didn't have the money I needed to get a full collection, because I would collect one thing and then I would buy stuff to start another collection. And so I could never keep up with collecting anything the way it should be done if you're going to collect things. So I started selling things off, and again, I made a lot of profit on that. I had probably 300 or 400 different beer cans from around the world, and I sold those. Sold baseball cards, football cards, hockey cards, wacky stickers,